Arts Live organ live stream action roundup for the week of September 29th to October 6th, 2025. Folks, we are already in October and it seemed like summer was just yesterday. We have a great lineup of organ recitals and concerts for you. Everything from the Bergamo International Festival in Italy to Grace Cathedral. We've got all of these organists. You have young ones, experienced ones, top ones, rising stars, Emmanuel, Wong, Charles Andrews, Olesia Kravchenko in Moscow, Yarno, Missiaen at Truror Cathedral up in Cornwall. You've got Joao Vaz at the Bergamo Festival. You've got our favorite Canon Martin Green in San Diego every week. Maria Makarova, who's done a lot of organ recording. I think she's recorded a lot of Shostakovich, I'm not sure. Baptiste Florian Marl-Ouvrard, the organist and showman at St. Eustache Church They're very often. He's one of the resident organists. And then the delightful Minnie Marie Jelinek at Grace Cathedral's concert. I know she's going to have fun with 7,466 pipes to play with. So without further ado, let me remind you first, if you're watching this on Facebook, please like the video. If you're watching this on any of our other platforms, please do subscribe to and or follow Access Arts Live on YouTube, X, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, or LinkedIn to make sure you don't miss a beat of all the organ live stream action going on every week. And there's so much of it. So let's get to this week. I think we have 9 different organ live streams for you coming at you. And the first one's coming up in just about an hour from now, when I will be doing another live stream in an hour from now. I'll be doing the roundup of chamber music. And here he is. It's a young guy. It's what you call a budding organist. Tuesday, September 30th, St. James Episcopal Toronto live streams Emmanuel Wong, student at the University of Toronto, playing Bach, and more Bach. That's at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Eastern Daylight Time, lunchtime, late lunch in Toronto, 10 o'clock on the West Coast, and 7 o'clock in the evening here in Europe. Like I said, 57 minutes from now. He's very young. He's just getting his BA at the University of Toronto in a couple of years, 2027. He'll be playing, I can list some of the things he's playing. He'll be playing a trio sonata in G BWV 530, the second movement. Then a number of different pieces with names. Christum, wir sollen loben schön. Mit Fried und Freud, ich fahre dahin. BWV 616. Yeah, the one just before that, BWV 611, if you're interested. O Mensch, bewein dein Sünde groß. I think that means, oh man, confess your great sins. BWV 622. Dirk Adams' Fall ist ganz verderbt. BWV 637, in dich hab ich gehofft, Herr. In you I have my hope, Lord. BWV 640. And finally, wenn wir in höchsten Nöten sein, which when we are in the greatest need. BWV 668 from the Leipziger chorales. That organ has 87 ranked, 67 speaking stops, over 4 manuals and 6 divisions, a little over 5,000 pipes. We'll give you the link to it. And I think that is all that you need to know about that. So let us move on to tomorrow's live stream, when the Temple Church London is back online with their live streaming, and they're starting in style. Wednesday, October 1st, the Temple Church London launches its live stream fall season with distinguished resident organist and music director Charles Andrews, playing the Harrison and Harrison organ for the first live stream recital of the term. And that's at, they're always at 1 o'clock London time, which is 2 o'clock European time, 9 in the morning on the East Coast, and 6 o'clock early morning on the West Coast for you Hollywood technician types who have to get up at like 4 in the morning to work on the movies. I've done some acting work. I know about that. Anyway, Charles Andrews is not only the resident organist and music director there, he's also the professor of organ and organ coordinator at the Royal College of Music. So top cheese here. We don't know what he's playing. They never tell us. We give you a link to more information about that organ. It's a 4-manual organ. It has 3 32-foot stops. If you know about organs, you know what that means. And it was originally built in Scotland for a ballroom about 50 years ago. No, almost 100 years ago, 1927. Marcel Dupré went up to play the inaugural concert, and then they moved it down to London in the 1950s. And it was completely overhauled about a decade ago. That's all you need to know about that. Then, later in the day, there's another live stream coming your way from Moscow. Whose picture do I have here? I have Olesia Kravchenko's photo. Yeah, that's who that is. Okay. I don't understand why I keep sniffling every time I start live streaming. I don't do it otherwise. Anyway, Wednesday, October 1st, you can celebrate International Music Day with the Catholic Cathedral in Moscow's Baroque Splendor live stream of Vivaldi, Bach, and Handel with globetrotting organist Olesia Kravchenko, flautist Anton Paisov, and his chamber orchestra. It's kind of like Lawrence Welk and his orchestra, his band of merrymen. The concert is called Baroque Splendor. This is not the first time that Olesia Kravchenko has organized a concert like this with organ, and she did one with organ and a couple flutes a couple weeks ago, I believe. Anyway, they will be performing. What are they performing? Where do I have the list of what they're playing? I don't have more specifics than that. So, but it's Vivaldi, Bach, and Handel. So that's what they'll be doing. Kravchenko is a Moscow conservatory product, runs a summer organ festival in Arkhangelskoye. She's done a lot for a Russian organist. She's done a lot of touring all over Europe and a lot of German locations, the Netherlands, France, San Francisco, Santa Barbara, San Luis Obispo, likes the West Coast, I guess, but also all across Russia. And she also works with a number of contemporary composers from all over Europe, from Holland, Italy, and from Russia and elsewhere. So, she has a number of recordings out with both, which are both solo recordings and other instruments. So that if you're an early music or Baroque music fan, that can be the way that you celebrate International Music Day. That's what they're doing it for. And that's on Wednesday, October 1st at 7 in the evening European time, 1 o'clock on the East Coast, 10 o'clock in the morning on the West Coast, and 8 o'clock Moscow time. So 2 concerts for you on Wednesday. Then we move on to Thursday. We have this very interesting young guy. I hope this photo turns out well. It looked a little fuzzy when I first picked it up. It comes from a newspaper when he was playing a concert. It's Belgian. Thursday, October 4th, Truror Cathedral's weekly live stream features young Belgian organist Yarno Missiaen from Vern, Belgium, currently pursuing advanced organ studies at the Ghent Conservatory. So this is the second organist this week that's still in school. He graduated from Fontys University of Applied Sciences in Tilburg in the Netherlands. And he's currently at the Ghent Conservatory. He's recorded the complete Orgelbüchlein, the little organ book by Bach for the Etc. label. He's performed in a number of places for a guy who's still studying. Knock, Ghent, Kortrijk, Brussels, Tilburg, Eindhoven, Amsterdam, London. The works he'll be playing include Bach, Mendelssohn, Bartholdy, the Sixth Organ Sonata, and Guillemot's Sixth Organ Sonata, only the first movement. We don't have more details about what he's playing than that, but that gives you an idea of what he's focusing in on. It's a Father Willis organ delivered by Bowden, installed in 1887, and it has, we're told, it has the standard Willis hallmarks, which I always quote when I'm talking about Truror Cathedral. Quote, tierce mixtures on great and swell, characterful gedacts on the choir, and a small but telling pedal division. Unquote. That's for all you real organ technical types. So we move on to Friday, because Friday is the big concert with a much more experienced, distinguished organist, Joao Vaz. Let me get that photo up for you. There he is. That's Joao Vaz. You can just tell the way it looks. He's been around. Friday, October 3rd, the Bergamo International Festival continues with Joao Vaz playing the organ at the Beata Vergine del Giglio Church. That's the Church of the Blessed Virgin of the Lily. That's at 9 o'clock on Friday evening in Europe, 3 in the afternoon on the East Coast, and noon on the West Coast. The organ is an anonymous organ. They do not know who built it, and we don't have a lot of details about it. As for Joao Vaz himself, he's Portuguese, and this concert is not though devoted to Portuguese composers. It's devoted to Italian and Spanish composers. Got his training first in Lisbon, and then at the higher conservatory at the Aragon Conservatory in Zaragoza, and then he has a doctorate in music and musicology, where actually he did a thesis on Portuguese organ music in the end of the Ancien Régime. So he's a real musicologist too. He's made more than 10 solo recordings, most of them made on Portuguese historic organs. He teaches at the Escola Superior de Música in Lisbon, and he directs organ festivals in Madeira, as well as at the Basilica of the National Palace of Mafra, and the historic organ in the Church of São Vicente de Fora in Lisbon, which he's been the titular organist of for the last 20 years. So that's the organist. What is he going to be playing? Well, a lot of these are not things you're going to know off the top of your head probably, but I'll give you some notes about some of what he's playing. He starts out playing a fantasy by Antonio Carrera, who was a composer from sometime around 1540 to 1597. Then he'll play a couple of pieces by Manuel Rodriguez Coelho, Curios in 5 verses from 1620, what's called a 4th tone tento, from which like the first piece is from his collection called Flowers of Music in 1620. Then he'll play some Frescobaldi. I need to scroll down here because it's better not to give you the English translations. The machine generated English translations, they are really lame. Frescobaldi, it's Toccata avanti la messa della Madonna, the toccata before the Mass for the Madonna. And then he'll be playing some Araujo, Tento sobre Salve Regina, which tento, it gets translated as tried, but it's like an essay. in the French sense, which is translated as try, but I'm not sure how to translate tento. Those of you who are real musicologists could probably school me on that. Leave a comment. Tell me what I don't know. Then some Pasquini, some Father Domingos de San Jose, some Carlos Sexas, Giuseppe Paganelli, and he'll finish up with the fugue in D minor by Jose de Madre de Deus from the 18th century. So that's these concerts at the Bergamo International Festival are top of the line. They're not 45-minute concerts. They're an evening's concert. Usually have an intermission somewhere in the middle by top people like Joao Vaz. But it's still free of charge, folks. That's what's amazing about so much of this live streaming that's going on. It's free of charge, and people have to pay at the door to get into to enjoy this kind of stuff. So I'll make a brief announcement here for the next now. An hour after that on Friday night, you have the weekly live stream coming from St. Paul's Episcopal. Friday, October 3rd, St. Paul's Episcopal Cathedral, San Diego, as usual, live streams the ever articulate and engaging Canon Martin Green, playing the oldest pipe organ in the San Diego region. It was an Aeolian Skinner built in 1969. Well, that was built over like the oldest one going back to the 1800s. Opus 1495, but then it was completely rebuilt again in 2012, just a decade or so ago, by Quimby Pipe Organs, Opus 68. 4 manuals, 98 stops, 86 ranks, 115 draw knobs. That's a lot of draw knobs for 4,933 pipes. And you're wondering, John, why are you talking to me about the organ and not about what he's going to be playing? Because they never tell us what he's going to be playing. So I don't know. But he always gives really interesting explanations, musical explanations for what he's going to be playing without leaving you in the musicological dust. I can always recommend that 10 o'clock in the evening here in Europe, or or lunchtime on the West Coast, or late in the afternoon, Friday afternoon on the East Coast. It's an excellent time to sit back and enjoy Canon Martin Green telling you what he's going to play, and then what's interesting about what he's playing, and then playing it. It's just great. It's a good guy. We then move to Saturday, August 4th. And this intriguing person, the photo that I have of her is from her recording, or no, I'm not sure that was that was an appearance at the Olympia. Playing Shostakovich's music for organ, Maria Makarova. She won't be playing alone, but I don't think I have a photo of the person she's playing with. But this is another one of those mixed concerts you get at the Catholic Cathedral in Moscow, live streamed by Artbene. Saturday, October 4th, Artbene live streams organist Maria Makarova and saxophonist Oleg Matveyev, playing crowd pleasers like Mozart's Turkish March, Rimsky-Korsakov's Flight of the Bumblebee, Caccini's Ave Maria, and some Bach, Shostakovich, Gershwin, Bollman, and more. So they're playing everything. The concert is called Classy Jazz, or Classics and Jazz, but other than the Gershwin, I'm not sure how much jazz they're actually going to be playing. That's at 7 in the evening European time, 1 o'clock on the East Coast, 10 in the morning on the West Coast, 8 o'clock on Saturday night in Moscow. Oleg Matveyev on the saxophone. He has his own group called Classy Jazz. I can give you more specifics about what they'll be playing. They'll be playing Bach's Fantasia in G major, 2 choral preludes, a minuet and scherzo arranged by Matveyev. They're playing Jacques Nicolas's Lemons' Fanfare, Mozart's Rondo in Turkish style, Pierre Roche's Suite. He's fairly contemporary, just 1919, 2001, 20th century guy. Tchaikovsky's Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy, the Andante from that, arranged by, or plus the Andante. I'm not sure what that notation means. Arranged by Makarova. So we'll see what that sounds like. And then Matveyev's arrangement, of course, Rimsky-Korsakov's Flight of the Bumblebee. Then the Caccini, Ave Maria Shostakovich, a couple of waltzes. I wonder if they'll be doing that waltz number 2, that ba-dee-da-dum, ba-da-dee-da-da-dee-da-da, which I think is the most beautiful, seductive waltz I've ever heard. If you don't know it, and if the guy's playing the saxophone, there's no way they can skip playing that waltz by Shostakovich. Trust me. Tune in, you'll find out I was right. And then Fallen Leaves by Joseph Kosma, Gershwin's Clara's Lullaby, and they'll finish off with Leon Boelmann's Toccata from the Gothic Suite. Wow, that's quite a diverse program on the organ and the saxophone. Okay, well, we move on from that. Yeah, and she's played Shostakovich before, so I'm not surprised they put a couple of Shostakovich waltzes into that particular one. We move on to Sunday, and I think we're down to the last 2 live streams that I have to tell you about. This one, you get the program written up for you there with the photo. The guys at Saint Eustache, Baptiste Florian Malouvrard and the other resident organist, Thomas Hospital, about, 6 months ago, they embarked on a new communications campaign. So they never show pictures of themselves at the organ. They show themselves. There's one of Baptiste Florian Malouvrard down by the docks in Paris on the Seine. Anyway, this guy, Baptiste Florian Malouvrard, he's really good. Sunday, October 5th, Saint Eustache offers us a live stream for those in the know and not in the know. Resident organist and showman B.F. Malouvrard offers us select passages from 4 different symphonies by Charles Marie Widor, surely because he sees a musical pattern therein. So you can tune in and see if you see the pattern too. How's that for an announcement or introduction? I kind of like that one. So the pieces he's going to be playing is, and he calls the concert Symphonie Posthume, posthumous symphony. He'll be playing the Allegro from Symphony number 6, the Scherzo from Symphony number 4, the Allegro Vivace from Symphony number 5, the Andante Sostenuto, the sustained Andante, from the Gothic Symphony, the Symphonie Gothique, and he'll finish up with the Toccata from Symphony number 5. So if you really know your Charles Marie Widor, and some of the people that follow us from different organ groups may really know that, then you know what he's going to be playing. And if you don't, you can't go wrong with the Saint Eustache live streams. They get 300 people at least every week. They fill up all the seats they have available, and you have some standing room only people standing behind them. The Parisians love these organ recitals, and they love that Van den Heuvel organ with 7,952 pipes, 115 stops, and 5 manuals. Roughly the same thing that you've got at Notre Dame Cathedral, but better acoustics. And then we finish up this week's live streams of organ concert action with an even more impressive organ, believe it or not, even though it's only the 5th largest in California and the 50th largest in the world. It's the organ at the Grace Cathedral in San Francisco. It's a magnificent cathedral. It's up, I think it's up high on one of those hills of San Francisco, and you never forget what it's like to be in that ambiance. It's filled with light, and very high ceilings, and there's this marvelous organist who is, I'd call her a rising star, but she's starting to have too much experience to call her that. Sunday, October 5th, the French and American trained rising star Minnie Marie Jelinek now full-time assistant organist for Washington National Cathedral, graces the keyboards of Grace Cathedral's 7,466 Aeolian Skinner organ, playing Buxtehude, de Grigny, de Messieurs, and du Roufflet, of course, because she's had so much training. Let me tell you what she's playing first. Buxtehude's Toccata in F, Bux double V 156. Yeah, it's not B double V, it's Bux double V. De Grigny, Nicolas de Grigny's Ave Maria Stella from his organ book, Livre d'Orgue, and Ave Maria by Jeanne de Messieurs. I pronounce that Jeanne because it's the French Jeanne. She's a woman composer. And finishing up with the suite by Maurice du Roufflet, Opus 5. She studied at the CNSMDP in Paris, the Conservatoire National Supérieur de Musique et de Danse, the National Conservatory of the higher National Conservatory of Music and Dance. And she was studying with people like top organist Olivier Latry and Thierry Escaich, the top composer organist. And then she comes to the US and she studies at Eastman and Juilliard. I mean, wow. So, and she's performed around in Paris at places like Notre Dame and Versailles and Saint Eustache. I wonder if she was ever in one of their Sunday live streams. It's entirely possible. And in Rouen, but she's done some live streamed or live broadcast performances or liturgies at St. Patrick's Cathedral, at St. Mary the Virgin, at the Basilica of the National Shrine of the Immaculate Conception. She has a vocation to sacred music, and I say God bless her, is what I say. If you have a vocation, that's blessed. But I think she looks super cool in that picture that she's using. She's kind of like sitting off to the side, like all these organ keys around her, like, hey, look at what I'm driving, look at what I'm going to drive. And because there's so much power in organs like that. Once again, it's a 7,466 pipe Aeolian Skinner instrument in name, Opus 910A, built in 1934, but it was largely designed by an Englishman, G. Donald Harrison. And it was, when it was originally built, it had 5 divisions: choir, great, swell, solo, and pedal, and 6,000 some pipes. But in subsequent upgrades, it has been built up to the 6,077 pipes it has now. And it's more than that now. It's 7,466. So it's a heck of an organ, and you're getting an organist who has just been honored with being appointed to one of the top posts in the United States for an organist. And wow, free of charge. Come on. Can't wait. And with that, I think we have one more concert that I want to mention to you, but it's not really an organ concert. I do want to mention it to you. It's more of a chamber music concert because it's both keyboards and piano. But there will be coming out of Sunday, October 5th at 1:00 in the afternoon, West Coast time in the U.S., the Lake Grove Concert Series will be live streaming Jeff Wood in an organ and piano concert. He'll be playing Bach, Dessner, César Franck, Vidor, David Hicken, and Fujii Kays. Some of it will be organ and some of it will be keyboards. If I have room, I will toss in the link to it. I'm not sure I'll have room, though, because we have so much going on this week that some websites will not take in all of the links that we want to put in the description. I hope that one or any of these live streams inspires you, uplifts you, or just shows you a heck of a good time. And I'll just remind you once again, if you're watching this on Facebook, please like the video. If you're watching this on any of our platforms, we would love it if you would follow and or subscribe to Access Arts Live on YouTube, X, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, and or LinkedIn. So we can continue to make sure you get more than 1,000 live links to live performances online. No other outlet or website can say that. The different websites and all, they're all just promoting their own works, if they do any promotion at all. If you want to know about all of them, I'm telling you, it's a full-time job on my part, compiling all this information. If you can't devote your full time to it, you're going to miss 95% of what's out there. And it's great stuff. And the majority of it's free of charge for things you'd pay 30, 40, 50 euros or dollars to attend in person. So having said that, I'll say ciao for now. I'm going to be back in about a half an hour's time doing another live stream, which will be the weekly roundup of chamber music offerings. And we have an enormous amount of those. We've got at least a dozen. So I got to get back to getting that ready for you in advance. And ciao for now. Maybe I'll see you in a half an hour's time.